There is an expression that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And in the case of Satan, our rabbis in the Talmud tell us that it is quite literal. Amar Rav Levi, Satan upenina l'shem shamayim niskavnu. There were two people, they had the purest of intentions, but in the end of the day, they committed terrible acts. Those two people were Satan, and Penina. What happened in the case of Satan? We are told, Satan came into Chazia la'akadosh baruch hu to natia date basar Eov. We're told that when Satan noticed, when Satan saw that God took an interest in Job, he took an interest in Eov, Satan was worried. He said, Chas v'shalom minchi le'lerechu nase d'Avram. He was worried that if God started going after Job, he was interested in Eov, he was looking at his righteous deeds, his righteous acts, he would, as it were, forget about Abraham. He'd forget about Abraham, our forefather. And he'd forget to show kindness to his sons, his daughters, to the Jewish people. And because of that, Job was tested. Job was thrown through terrible things by Satan. But Satan said, I had good intentions. I was trying to help the children of Abraham. And we are also told the second person in the Talmud, the second person in that passage. Penina d'chsiv u'ka'asta tzarasa gam ka'as ba'avor harima. We're told in the beginning of Sefer Shmuel, the book of Samuel, that there were two co-wives. There was Penina and Chana. Now, Penina, she merited to have children. Good for her. But we're also told that she had a co-wife, Chana. Later on, she gets to have Shmuel HaNavi, the prophet Samuel, as her son. But until then, she had no children. She was barren. She was childless. And Penina, we are told, she harassed, she verbally abused her co-wife. With the intention, though, Rashi says, Bavor Harima, Shetispalel, that she should pray to God out of dismay, out of a distraught disposition, in order so God can answer her prayers, in order so that she could have Shmuel HaNavi, the prophet Samuel, as her future son. And even though Penina had the most righteous, the most noble intentions, to cause another human being pain, to cause someone else to feel that level of worthlessness, that's something you can never cause another person. That is untenable. In fact, the Talmud says we have to go so far not to cause another individual pain. It says in the Talmud, in Bava Metzia, if there's a family, God forbid, one of the family members, he was executed by the government, he was hanged, God forbid, you should be careful. You should not say to your friend even, can you hang that fish over there? Can you hang up the fish over there so we can get it ready for the meal? You're not even allowed to say something like that to him, because just the mere mentioning of hanging, that could cause him extreme pain. It brings back the memory. We have to be so careful to the sensitivities of others, because I would think, all I'm talking about is food. All I'm talking about is preparing a meal. It's innocuous. I'm not intending anything wrong. But if I know that my friend is sensitive to that, if I know that they are going to be hurt even by an innocuous statement like that, hang up the fish, you're going to think about their relative that was hanged, God forbid. Then I have to be sensitive, because I don't understand the full extent of their pain. But I have to understand that I'm causing them pain, and I have to be sensitive to make sure that they are comfortable and they feel safe. The Gemara in Yoma, the Talmud tells us a halacha, a Jewish law when it comes to Yom Kippur. We are told, B'chola machilin oso al pi bekiyin. If there's a doubt, we don't know if someone should fast. We don't know if they are not supposed to fast. Who do we ask? Well, we go to a doctor. We ask a medical professional for their advice. It's a medical question. And if the doctor says he has to eat on Yom Kippur, then he eats on Yom Kippur. But wait, what about in the reverse case? What about the opposite? Amar Avyanai, Chola Omer Tzarech V'Rofe Omer Eino Tzarech. What if the doctor says, you don't need to eat anything, you'll make it through Yom Kippur, you'll be fine. But the Chola, he's adamant he needs to eat. He knows that he's in danger if he doesn't, despite what the doctor is telling him. The halacha is Shomin L'Chola. We listen to the individual. We listen to his pain. My taima, what's the reason? A verse in Proverbs. Leiv Yodea Maras Nafsho. Only an individual's own heart can truly plumb the depths and truly comprehend the nature of the challenges, the pain, and their own unique experience that they have. Leiv Yodea Maras Nafsho. Pshita. Madatema Rofe Kimle Tfei. I would have thought we should trust the doctor to say this man can make it through Yom Kippur. He can survive. Kamash Molan, the Gemara tells us, nonetheless, Leiv Yodea Maras Nafsho. That doctor, he could only assess what he sees on the outside, but he doesn't know the true travails. He doesn't know the true pain, the true experience, the uniqueness, the idiosyncrasies of this individual that lies within his heart. As Yirmiyahu, as Jeremiah says in Lamentations, Im yesh machov kimachovi. Does anyone understand? No. No one can understand the pain that I feel as an individual. Of course, there are others who experience similar situations, but me as an individual, I experience that on a unique level that no one else is truly privy to that unique experience. A number of years back, when I was an undergraduate in college, I spent a summer. It was my first summer in a deliberately Jewish pluralistic environment where they deliberately wanted Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist, etc., all in the same place, an internship called CLIP. And I was placed at the UJA Federation of New York. It was a wonderful experience during that summer. And I got to meet all sorts of people. During that summer, a coworker of mine reached out to me. Now you have to understand, I grew up in a neighborhood where nobody owns pets. The culture of it, no one owns dogs, no one owns cats. Maybe there's lots of children, but there's definitely no pets. And that wasn't part of my culture growing up. And then I got a message from one of my coworkers who I met that summer. And she said to me, she asked, you know, we've had our dog for a long time. We're putting him down soon. I want to know, are there any prayers, are there any end-of-life prayers that I can use in addition to saying Kaddish for our dog once we put it down? And my initial reaction growing up in a place where no one owned a pet, no one owned a dog, no one owned a cat, no one had those kind of animals in their household to begin with, my initial reaction was, well, I was going to say Judaism doesn't really talk about an afterlife for animals. I was going to tell her we don't really have rituals for animals. I was about to give her cold logic. I was about to give her a cold theological exposition until I stopped myself and I realized, wait, this woman, she's in pain. This woman, she's losing her dear pet. Maybe to me, it was just an animal. Maybe to me, in my experience culturally, it was just a pet. But to her, it could have been like a dear family member. And the pain that she experienced having to put her dog down after so many years, that's something that I could never truly understand. What she needed in that moment was compassion and sympathy. That's what she needed. Because Leiv Yodea Maras Nafsho, only she knows her true experience. And that's not for me to judge. It's for me to be supportive and to help her. And this was supported, I realized, when I saw a letter from Rabbi Norman Lamb, Zichrona Livracha, in 1976. He received information, he received a notification that there was a girl, a young girl in his community that lost her pet bird. And unlike many people like myself, his reaction was not to scold, his reaction was not to scoff, but his reaction was, he wrote a 3-page letter to this girl called Eulogy for a Little Bird, to a little girl who mourns for it. He writes to this girl, Dear Lori, I just learned that your pet bird passed away. I can appreciate how badly you feel because of this. I know how attached you are to it. I am not one of those who dismiss such things as trivial because it is only a bird, or a dog, or a cat, or any other living thing. When you form a warm relationship with a living creature, it becomes a part of your life. So too, I can understand how much you miss the company even of a little bird, which relied upon you and which made you so happy. Rabbi Lamb, he was a Jewish theologian of our era par excellence. He, of course, could have reacted and said, you know what, I'll give you a theological exposition. I'll tell you what Judaism has to say or doesn't have to say about what it means when a pet passes away. But instead of that, he reacted and he said, this girl's in pain. This little girl, she needs support. And he penned a 3-page letter to this young girl who lost her little pet bird at such a young age. That's the sensitivity that we have to have. Because Leiv Yodea Maris Nafsho, her unique pain and experience may have not been what I would have felt. Maybe Rabbi Lamb would not have felt that when his bird would have passed away. But if this girl was feeling that kind of pain, she was feeling that kind of experience, it's not for us to judge, but it's for us to be supportive and to be sensitive to the needs and to the experiences of others. During 2020, during this entire COVID-19 era, we have learned to cut people slack. We may have even noticed that Eversource Electricity, different banks that we're associated with, they gave us extra time to pay our bills. People have been understanding. We get calls from every organization. We know how tough it is right now. And on an individual level too, we've intuitively realized that we need to cut our neighbors more slack. We know that we have to be more flexible with our family, with our loved ones, with our community members, with everyone we associate with. But I'm afraid that this may only be a kind of sensitivity that is temporary, that only lasts during COVID-19. We may be understanding that during COVID-19, there is a 2-parent household that struggles to juggle their kids, juggle their jobs, and we are sympathetic. We understand what they're going through. But do we take a step back and realize that before COVID-19, after COVID-19, there are still people struggling? What about that single parent who's struggling to raise a kid? Both before the pandemic and then after the pandemic, they still struggle. They still have that terrible, that hard experience to have to juggle so many things in their life. But are we sensitive to that? Do we understand, even if we don't fully understand, Leiv Yodea Maris Nafsho? The experience that we have, the sensitivity that we have now is beautiful. But we have to understand that these kind of challenges that people have, even if we don't see it on a communal level, people have them on their own unique individual levels, not just in 2020, but in 2021, in 2022, in 2023, and onwards. There are individuals that we say, Leiv Yodea Maris Nafsho, only their hearts truly comprehend their own experiences. And let us make the commitment, not just for 2020, but for onwards and forever, for this coming year, that we commit to be more sensitive, even when we don't and we can't fully understand someone else's unique challenges and travails and experiences. We will be understanding. We will be flexible for them. We will be sensitive and supportive for them. And in that merit, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu, may God be sensitive and understanding to our own needs, our own challenges, and may He inscribe us and our loved ones in the book of good life this Yom Kippur. Gemar Chasima Tov.